Good morning, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Hammer the Point with your host with the most, me, Ray. And with me is my wingman, the man, he's literally my tag team partner. We do our shows together. It's Charlie Walsh in the house. How you doing, Charlie?
I'm good. I'm the gold dust to your Booker T. That's the one I'm going with today. A classic 2005-ish era tag team. There you go.
They're a good tag team. I like the comedy
I
duo.
liked him as well. But then again, I'm a big Goldust fan, so I can't not like him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they could have done so much with that character if they didn't. Anyway, thank you everyone for joining in. We've got no one watching right now, but we've got 2 likes, so happy days. Maybe that's just me and you, Charlie.
I didn't like it, so it could be you and someone else.
Oh, okay. There we go. Maybe Tim. So, we've got some people in it. Foe's here, obviously, always hit in all the shows. Thank you, Foe. Baz, the Southampton supporter, do us a favour against Watford the other day? Or Bournemouth, was it? Which one was it? Oh, whoever, no one cares, really. West Ham's safe, aren't they? So today's show is all about David Moyes and why he deserves a second chance, Charlie.
Is that
even got a cheeky PowerPoint for you?
Okay, A, very happy about the PowerPoint. B, his facial reaction in that picture is the exact same as mine because I didn't know what it was about today until literally this exact second. So okay, I'm interested for you to try and even begin to convince me. Go on.
Well, you see, this is why I put that photo in, because I just thought it was hilarious. Even Gary, how you doing? Hope you're well. As you can see, we've only got Charlie with me today because we're going to be trying to say a bit different. I may do the show on my own. I may do it with Charlie. We're not going to be going for as long as what we normally do. We might not, because, you know, sometimes we need to change up the shows every now and again, Charlie. Need to make it a bit fresh.
Fair. That's fair. I don't believe you about the length thing, but we'll see what happens.
Well, you're right. Anyway, just a bit of housekeeping to go through. Please go to American Hammer's website, buy all our merchandise, keep Tim happy. We may even get some chocolate biscuits for the show. Can't say fair enough for that. Also, follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Just go to the normal pages. Type in American Hammers Network. Search. You'll find it. We'll be there. There'll be even pictures of Charlie on the show. And what more can you get? So, Charlie, first of all, let's ask you the main question. Should David Moyes be given a second chance, or should we sack him at the end of the season? Hello, Rebecca. Hope you're well. We know you're not well. Bless you.
Yeah, get well soon. I think I don't listen. Personally, it's difficult because it's one of those ones where I 1,000% believe he's going to be here next season regardless of anything, right? Yeah. So it's kind of almost futile in that sense because I've sort of accepted the fate that is David Moyes at West Ham. If I were in charge, I wouldn't keep him. I don't think he's been anywhere near good enough. He's obviously had some very good games recently, but I can't forget the rest of his horrendous 2 runs because of those games. So for me, I wouldn't keep him, but I'm also sort of resigned to the fact that it's going to happen. But I mean, someone brought up a good point on the show we do, 2 Spanners, 1 Hammer on the Hammers Chat Patreon, where where the idea of not who else is going to take that sort of role, who else is going to be that person, and that's something I haven't really thought about, despite the fact I just don't think he's that good.
Well, what you have to do is try and take a bit of it in context, Charlie, and I know you do, and I know you take it all. We have a little bit of a rant about David Moyes on both shows. But, you know, he has taken over from previous managers and he hasn't been given a full run of a season with his old mobs. Now, again, next season is going to be a little bit more difficult because there's something that's coming into the PowerPoint a little bit later on that may hinder the situation. But we have to remember he does have a good record. He's played over 500. He's managed over 500 matches in the Premiership. His wins outweigh the losses. So you've got to take that into consideration, Charlie. We got rid of him, and we got Pellegrini in. It worked for the first season. Second season, not so much. So we've had to get him back in and saved us. He has saved us. I believe that. Not mathematic, but unless Man United beat us like 20-0. And to be fair, way Watford are playing, I think Watford could be the next team down a drop. What do you reckon, Charlie? Do you reckon we are safe?
Yes, I do. Yes. I mean, look, realistically, I can't see a situation in which Watford or Norwich are definitely down, Bournemouth are definitely down, and I think it's between the other two. And the thing is with Villa is a bit of a weird one, because I would say they've got a bit of fight in them, as they've shown again today. They didn't look like they were
mighty Arsenal.
Exactly. For once, they didn't look like they were sort of blinded by the lights, and they stepped up to the game, stepped up to the plate, and knocked it out. And I think there's some sprouts popping up, some little sunflowers starting to grow there, which looks like their chances of survival might actually happen. Whereas Watford fired their manager, got battered, and also have Arsenal next, I believe. A wounded Arsenal who are going to want to end strong, because Mikel Arteta, he's got them purring to an extent. I can't see a situation in which we go down at this point, despite being not mathematically safe.
Yeah, I totally agree. And do you know what? If I reckon we could actually lose that game against Aston Villa, and I think that, or even a draw, I think Aston Villa is going to be safe now. I really do. I think Watford have just gone car crash, and they're going to be out of the game. Which there's a second reason why I'm actually happy that Aston Villa are going to be staying up and Watford are going down. I didn't realise Watford's capacity for the stadium is only about 20,000. Do you know that, Charlie?
It's a small stadium. I was there in December, and it's a small stadium for a work thing, not for a football match. But it is a small stadium. You don't think about it until you're like, it's like one tier. It's not, it's a very small place.
Yeah, I literally did not know that. So kind of like having the big stadiums in the big leagues. You've got Leeds coming up with their big stadium. Sheffield Wednesday are the biggest one in the Championship, but they're not doing it.
I'm the opposite. I quite like a small stadium. I like a small compact thing. I understand what people are talking about, but it's how do I describe it? I quite like maybe it's because I like the underdog too much, that I see someone with a smaller stadium, I'm like, come on, let's go, let's get in there, let's do it. You know what I mean? If Brentford got promoted inside their current stadium, I know they're about to move to their old one, for example, that'd be a big victory. I do understand what people say though. It's spectacle in it, big, like Mania, 100,000 people. It's hype, you know what I mean? Mania, it's not as hype when no one's there.
Exactly. But I do get what you're saying. I do like a small underdog. And that's why I was a Bret Hart fan back in the day, you see. Always the underdog. Yeah. Always the underdog. But yeah, as we were saying, David Moyes, for me, deserves a second chance. He was given 2 bit part points. So this time, he's got to be given a full running. How much of a running? We just don't know. Yeah, Arsenal are ridiculous. Worrying situation ahead, yes. Charlie.
Yes.
I saw this today on Claret Hugh. West Ham are going to have a 0 budget for next season. And did we think we was going to... Do you think this is true? Do you reckon that we have got a 0? Or are they just saying it to get prices down of other people? What do you reckon?
Okay, how do I word this? I think in reality, our budget in their eyes would always and will always be 0. I don't think GSB will ever spend money if they aren't literally forced to spend it, right? So in this situation, will it be 0? It won't end up being 0. Baz says that both literally in England. It won't literally be 0. We will end up having spent more money than we would have made. I can almost guarantee you that. but I think in their eyes, ideally it would always be less than 0. If we're not making money, then they look at that as a failure, which it's to some extent is fine, but it's a bit ridiculous. It's just stupidity, bro. It doesn't have to be 0 either. They just are making it 0 because they're tight, to be frank.
Yeah. Do you think it's going to be 0 until the January transfer window when we're fighting for our lives to stay in the Premiership?
It's weird how that works, isn't it? How
It's
whenever
funny,
they're forced into that situation, money seems to appear out of nowhere. It's weird how that works.
Jared Bowen, 35 million. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Jared Bowen, Souček. Oh, calm. Okay, yeah, we can just do that now, apparently, because we're in a bit of trouble. Oh, everyone has been talking about a striker for ages. Let's just spend 45 million on one out of nowhere. That makes sense, doesn't it? No, again, I do genuinely think that we will end up having spent more than we've made back on transfers net-wise in this summer. And also, if you listen to certain places on the internet, Claret and Hugh, they always bang on about how much money people have spent all the fucking time. So, it is what it is. It is what it is, right?
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah, I don't think the purse is empty. I think there's a bit of money. There's got to be a bit of money because we desperately need a defence, especially on the wing backs. If we don't spend money, we are going to be in a very difficult situation next season because we will be. You're going to have the teams like Leeds, come up. They're not going to be in the bottom 3 next season. They're going to spend money, I reckon. You're going to have maybe West Brom come up.
Yeah,
they're going to spend some money. Won't be loads, but I can't see the top 2 teams. Can't see them being pulled into relegation. So what's it going to be? West Ham. I think Aston Villa, unless they spend some money, could be pulled back down as well.
Brighton.
Brighton could be a tough one.
The thing is with all of these clubs, right, that you're naming, I agree. I think we're staying up now, and that I think we will be favourites to go down next year, because nothing's changing at the club. We've got the same manager, same ownership, and apparently 0 budget. So of course we're going to be one of the favourites to go down. What I'll say about the rest of those teams is it's less about maybe West Brom slightly less, but it's less about them spending more than us. Although I do think some of them will. It's more about I trust them all to spend smarter than us, and that's a bigger problem. If we don't start spending smart, then we're never going to get out of the situation we're in now, which is a bigger problem for me than actually spending the money. Because I don't actually mind not spending a lot. I think realistically, if you're a business, you want to make more money than you put out. Like, it's just logic, right? I don't technically have a problem with that. I think it's unrealistic in modern day football to make that a goal because of just how much money is in the game. But at the same time, I do sort of understand that. The problem is by being as stupid as they are, they can't. That situation is never going to arise really because they keep making stupid decisions. Whereas you look at Brentford, for example, who have an unbelievable track record with transfers, just constant bangers for low money, then sell them for high. Look at their striker situation. It's mad. It's just a conveyor belt of making money. I try to trust teams like that way more to spend money than I trust us. And that's kind of a huge problem. I totally agree with you.
We've got no scouting network. We've got no. I wouldn't mind to know who searched for Souček though, and where that come up. Whether that was a little bit of paper left on the side from Pellegrini era that they left behind. They forgot.
Down the back of the sofa when he came into the office, he was like, "Oh, what's this? Lovely stuff. I'll take that. I'll take that."
Souček. Let's have a look. Oh, he's cheap. He is really. Look at that one. I do think we're going to have maybe a lot of loan players, considering we might have 2 loan players where we haven't got any budget.
I think loans will be huge in general this summer for everyone. I think there's going to be a lot of loans.
Yeah. Which I'm not necessarily against. Loans with an option to buy, as West Ham normally do, especially in the left back and the right back. There's issues with the Wigan team that they're going in trouble, and they've got some good players that could be picked up Not necessarily on the cheap because there's other teams looking at them, but
I mean, they'll be
They may-
significantly cheaper than it would. Like, it doesn't surprise me for a second that the second we're going to went into administration, it was all of a sudden it was David Sullivan. Like, oh, hello, you got a left back there. It doesn't surprise me at all. Like, it's the most. It just makes. It's just like, of course, we need a left back. We've needed one for a while. What's happened? The team's gone into administration. You say, hello.
He might try and buy him.
Well,
West Ham. How cheap can we get Wigan for?
I heard there's an alleged casino millionaire who wants to buy a football club now. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it is going to be a bit of a tight one, but I don't necessarily think that it's going to be 0 pence.
Yeah.
So if it's not going to be 0 pence, or if it's going to be close to that, what does Moyes need to do? He needs to believe in youth. I think this is something that he is going to be doing, and this is not youth for tomorrow. It's youth for the next few years, because there's quite a few young ones. There's another one I couldn't find his name for. I can't remember his name, but yeah, I'm sure Charlie will pluck it out of his little hat. But Dean Garner, what would that be for us next season? A young, hungry player. He's done well at West Brom. I think he would be a perfect addition to have him with the Bowens, with the Rice if he stays, or what do you think? Do you think Dean Garner's going to be a success next year? Do you reckon he's going to get into the team, Charlie?
I would hope so. I think if we have the squad we have now, he'll find it very difficult to have the game time, which is why I don't know if it was today or yesterday, but there was that rumor going around of him potentially looking for a move because he hasn't got. He doesn't believe he might necessarily have the game time, and I do believe that to an extent because I think we've got so many people in those positions that are all on very high budgets, very high wages, very high transfer fees, that it's very difficult to see a space for him. But I think if David Moyes is smart, let's be real. If this thing about us looking for championship players is true, which I don't have any reason to believe why it isn't, if you were looking at the championship for a wide player, he'd be one of the people you'd look at instantly. Because he's been brilliant. Not only has he been brilliant before his injury, he had a massive injury and then came back from it and carried on exactly where he was essentially. Maybe not the same level, but still very high. So yeah, I think if David Moyes is smart, he almost has to be included. Like there's no two ways about it, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Diagano in the team. I'm excited to see his work rate, his flair. He had, I love Bowen, as I always say.
Mm-hmm.
I think Bowen's a workhorse and he's a soldier. He does all the right things. I think Diagano's just got that little bit of flair, and a few bits of tricks here and there, where I don't see Bowen have them to per se, but he's got great aspect. Bowen, if you're watching that, I love you. Remember that. I think Bowen's got a fantastic cross, and he runs out defenders, and he can take them on. He can do all this kind of stuff. Where I think Diagano can do this one sort of trick, move it out of the way, and nutmeg people and stuff like that. A bit like what we would like to see from Anderson. A bit more. I think he's brave enough and young enough to try different stuff, and
it's the very excited. Right? Like with Bowen, when he came in, he had that full. He was in form. He was steaming it. He came in and he still carried that momentum through. You don't want to knock that people's confidence when they have it, and that's the thing with Dean Garner. If I don't know what our plans are for pre-season, to be honest with you, I haven't been paying attention, so I don't know. But in pre-season, if I'm Moyes, I'm looking at Dean Garner and I'm starting him in that first preseason game, no matter what. I'm saying, bang, here you go, impress me, let's go. Give him that platform to carry through that momentum. Because if there's one thing we love to see is that someone like Bowen who's going to look at a player and go, come on in, let's have a go then. Let's take it on, let's take it past. And I think that would be brilliant. I doubt he will, but we'll see what happens. Yeah,
and with Dean Garner coming into the team, even I know a lot of people want to see us buy someone in midfield and bits and pieces and a striker and that. With Bowen coming into with Dean Garner coming in the team, I don't think we need anything past the midfield. You know, if we lose Rice, we're going to need to replace him. But if we don't buy anyone, if we don't sell anyone, anyone from midfield forward, I'm not that worried about.
Yeah.
You've got Rice, Souček, Noble, Snodgrass, right? Because I see Noble and Snodgrass as like playing games, but like coming on a sub or playing some of the important games. And I know people are not a fan of Snodgrass, but I think he's got a good free kick or he's got a good cross on him and good corner. I love his corners, a bit like Bowen. And then I see on the wings, you've got Anderson, who does a bit of confidence in him, and he can be a world-class player. All right. You then, and as I was saying to you on Sunday, the other day, you're going to have players challenging him to make him better, or you're going to have Anderson in the background challenging the other players to make them better. So you've got Dean Garner, or you've got Yarmolenko on the other way, and you got. I think Yarmolenko played fantastic in that game that he come on because he realised Bowen's got my spot. So I need to come on and do something. He come on, scored a goal, played fantastic, and then he got to start the following game, and it weren't like he didn't do as good. Coming back from injury, all that kind of stuff. So I'm not fan. Yeah. But next season, when he's fully fit, if you have to turn out Bowen for Yarmolenko, and Yarmolenko's point of performances that he has been when he comes off the bench, what a team that is! Then you got Antonio, played his number one striker role, and he's back up. Haller, who's got a fantastic finish. And again, you've got Silva in there who could be his understudy. I can see, get rid of Ajay if we need to, get some money, use Silva in there. How many games have Ajay come on and played? A handful?
Next to none, yeah.
Next to none. West Ham fans would appreciate and love one of the academy players coming in and playing that games, playing 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, one of our own. Something for us to get to gripping,
I mean, if we were to get rid of a Jesse, I would be concerned with strikers, only because, it depends again, because obviously Antonio exists, but he is sort of like, I don't know what's going to happen with Antonio, and I sort of see him. Potentially is a striker. We've had this conversation. Maybe he is a striker next year. Maybe he is a winger. I don't know what he is, right? But I do like having a Jetty there as an option. Not that David Moyes is ever going to take it, but it does make me feel a lot more comfortable. I wouldn't sell a Jetty. I don't see the point in selling a Jetty if we're being honest about it, because if the numbers that are being banded around that are so low are to be believed, we're not going to get anything for him anyway. So what's the bloody point? You might as well give him a chance. Like, what are you going to do? Like,
question, Charlie. Question.
Well, go on.
Would you sell him if it freed up a space for Jordan Hugill to come back?
Of course I would, bruv. I'd sell anyone, bruv. I'd sell my left testicle if it meant Jordan Hugill got his chance, mate. Eggs. I'll tell you that much for a fact. Easy. I'd get him out. Get him done, bruv. Listen, I'll tell you that much for a fact. But honestly, this is I'm working on the assumption that he's not going to get a chance. Because I don't think he will. But if he were to come back and given a place in the squad, and I'm being serious for a second, I'll take my Hugill specs off for a second and put my Charlie normal specs on. I wish I had glasses. Oh, here you go. Hang on. I'll put my Charlie normal glasses on. I'm working on the assumption that Hugill won't get given a chance because I don't think he will. If he were, then I'd be fine with having that extra body there. It's just having the body there. I like the idea of Alexander Silva coming in and doing well, but I don't have faith he will. Whereas Ajeti and Hugill are more proven prospects to me. They just are because they've played senior football for a long time at many different levels, as opposed to someone coming in, because the jump from youth team football to senior football it's massive. It's massive, and I don't want to see us going into a situation with less people than that. But apart from that, I do actually agree with you. With Diangana coming in, I wouldn't go anywhere near buying anyone, barring selling anyone midfield forward. Our defense is not a priority for me.
Yeah, and again, you've got a striker attacking options. You got Holland there as well to come in. Again, like 5 minutes here, 2 minutes there. Nothing major, just something to give him a bit of a bit of confidence, bit of a hello, and then next season you give him a bit more and a bit more and a bit more. And that's what I would like to see. I would like to see some of the youth players be given a bit of a pedestal, and then it's up to them if they make it or not.
Yeah, it's a high risk thing, but I think it's a risk worth taking. And I think we've got the only place where I'm not comfortable with it is defensive midfield and fullbacks. They're the only place I'm not really comfortable with us doing it, because I don't think we have adequate cover for those positions, just in terms of senior numbers. But in terms of everywhere else on the pitch, like Holland's a good example, right? I don't particularly think Holland is that good, right? No. And if he sees this, Holland, I apologize. But I look at him and I think he's fast. That's it, right? I don't really see what everyone I don't see what everyone talks about it for. But because we have such numbers, if there was a big injury and he got the chance to step in, I'd love to see that. Of course I would, just because I don't think it's him, but it's because of those numbers. Whereas fullback, we need bodies, we need people, we need senior, reliable, dependable people. And the same with defensive midfield. Although we've got Rice, I want at least one more, please, in that position.
And what you have got to remember that we did have Rice at centre back as well, and he made some errors, he made some mistakes. Most comical one is when he ducked and it went in.
Yes.
But we've got to understand they're going to make them kind of mistakes, and West Ham fans will hold their hands up and go, "We're not going to shout at you. Mistakes are going to happen. Mistakes are going to happen." And and that brings me on to Ben Johnson. I don't think he had a fantastic game the other day, but I don't think he had a bad game. And I saw him give away the ball a couple of times, but you got to expect that with the younger ones, because they've got to build up their confidence, and they've got to have their arm around their shoulder saying, "Come on, you've got this, Ben Johnson." So, and I would like to see, and I know he's only 16, but Colton Cole has been pushing him up. But Baptista for centre back, I wouldn't mind seeing. And he's been playing with the first team. So
let me just say this now. I don't know who he is, so give me some information. I literally know nothing about Jamal.
So, Colton Cole's been talking about him, bigging him up, saying how much he's playing with the first team now. Yeah. He's only 16. He's a big lad. So he's one for the future. He's only 16 now, so we don't want to put too much pressure on him. But I kind of like to see him being around the first team. Doesn't need to come on. That may be a filler for the substitutions later down the line. And if Moyes does love putting a defender on, if we're on the 90th minute, if we are 3-1 up.
Yeah.
So there is potential for him to jump on and just see how he gets on for 5 minutes. So I see him as one of the futures. Fingers crossed. Nathan Trott. I'm kind of edging towards him being out on loan for next season. But the season after, he's got to be given a chance in the first team. What do you think on Nathan Trott, Charlie?
I think Trott's an interesting one because he's obviously not going to get in ahead of Fabianski barring an injury, or Randolph, which is a separate issue for a separate time. I just don't think he's not done incredibly at his loan spell, which is obviously a negative thing. I think in reality he needs to go where he gets the most game time. Because keeping a youth team player around as third choice goalkeeper, in my eyes, isn't great. Case in point, Raphael Spiegel, who was here donkey's years as a third choice goalkeeper who came up from the youth team. And now I literally couldn't. I think he was playing in like the Austrian second division or some nonsense. And maybe he just wasn't good enough, and he was just always here to be here. But I don't like that. I think if you need to get as much game time as humanly possible, and realistically, he's not going to get in ahead of Fabianski, and he's not going to get in ahead of Randolph unless both of them get injured at the same time. And having two keepers injured at once is unbelievably rare. But as you say, the season after that, both of those players' contracts are up. So, I mean, realistically, we'll probably re-sign at least one of them, but both of those players' contracts are up. If he can go out and get a loan spell, which is what I would do with him this year as well, I'd loan him out to a club where he's going to get good game time at a decent level and play the entire season. If he can get out there and impress, I'd be more than happy for him to come in as second choice, trying to fight for first. More than happy.
It's got to be a championship team next season, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you've seen the jump from League One to the Premier League before, but it's very rare and it's very difficult. If he can't get game time consistently at a championship level club, are you comfortable with him being first choice for West Ham? If push comes to shove, I wouldn't be personally.
No. I want him to get that experience. I want him to be, I want him to be in a not relegated, but in a team that's going to be getting relegated or in that sort of point, because he's going to have a lot more shots and a lot more things to do than what it would be if he's in like a top flight and the things. I want to see him being tested, so I want him to be able to win points because of the saves that he's pulling off. Obviously, he does need some sort of protection from his defense, but I would like to see that personally. Silva, we've already talked about. Not much more to him. I would like to see him as a fourth choice striker in the team and give him a few minutes. And I know you say you want to keep a Jetty. I would sell a Jetty, and I would bring in Hugo back because I would like to have that. There's a bit of extra cash there. Hugo's not on great money. Hugo deserves a chance. I think you've grinded me down, Charlie. You've worn me down.
Thank you, everyone. I'm happy now. That's all I've needed to hear my entire life. I can quit American Hams forever.
Yeah.
Thank you. Goodbye. Shit, I was going to click off, but I didn't want to risk not coming back in again, so I didn't want to risk it. Here's something I'll say. Here's something I'll say about that, though. This is a quick question for you. Also, Cieran said in the chat, I didn't bring it up, is it Coventry the person you're thinking of? Was he the player you were thinking of? The extra youth player that you couldn't remember? Connor Coventry, the midfielder?
Maybe.
Good shout, Cieran. I mean, if the rumours are to be believed, we'll probably get just as much for Hugo as we would get for a Jetty. I don't know who's on more money. I don't know who's on more wages. Part of me thinks it might actually be Hugo on more wages. I don't know that for a fact, but does that change your opinion on which one of them you would keep?
No, I kind of like Hugo because I kind of like having that British base.
Okay.
I've always said I do like an Englishman, a Scottishman, a Welshman, and an Irishman in the teams.
The joke's out. You love it. You love to see it.
Love it. So, I think the harmony within them lot. Look at Collins and Noble. They had a good relationship. You've got Snodgrass as well, Scottish. All we need is Irishman in there, really. That's all we need.
And that brings us on to our next player.
Rice.
No, our next player, who of course represents the Republic of Ireland at international level. There you go.
Yeah. Unless he changes his diet, doesn't he? Or is he at the senior level now?
That's a good question. I don't know. Let me double check that.
Yeah. But I would say I would like to see Josh Cullen given an opportunity. That midfield for us is very packed. He's not going to get ahead of Noble. He's not going to get ahead of Snodgrass. He's not going to get ahead of Wilshere. He's not going to get ahead of Rice or Souček. But there's FA Cups, there's League Cups, early games. I would like to see, Josh Collins standing next to Noble in a cup game with Rice or Souček just behind him, give him that bit of a protection, and say, and then Noble will go, go on then, Cullen, play your football. Show us what you can do. And I can see Noble being that kind of guy, put his arm around. Well, he does it. He done it with Rice. So perfect. I would like to see Cullen give him a chance. Again, it's another. We ain't going to be spending lots of money, so why waste the money on midfield when we've got some youth team that can play minutes? I'm not saying hours. I'm not saying whole games. I'm saying minutes in some games throughout the league, throughout the cups. Especially if we don't sell anyone. You're still going to have Lanzini there next season. You're going to still have Wilshere there next season because he's going to want to get his $100,000 for one more season. Who wouldn't? So, that's my idea. Believe in youth, Moyes. I actually got faith that Moyes will believe in some of the youth. So I actually believe in it. And what also excites me is these two players. Jared Bowen, for obvious reasons, and I've put it in smaller print because I'm more excited about seeing Jared Bowen because he has got the work rate. He has got the heart on his sleeve. He is my boy. So I do see him excited. Declan Rice, it's been said that we're not going to give him up next season. We're going to fight tooth and nail to keep him. They've turned around and said they're not going to do the swap deal with, I can't even believe we was going to be getting. Is it in it? Not in there, actually. What's his name? Down to us. Yeah.
Here's the thing about the swap deal. Can I say this? Because I haven't said this publicly. I would have taken it, bro. If it's a loan deal. If it's a loan deal for just Tomori, no, get out of here. Well, loan deal for Tomori and whatever money Declan Rice is actually worth, then yeah, sure. But you can't give me a player on loan for someone permanently. Are you mad? You ain't getting out for that, mate. You ain't getting out for that, sunshine. But if it was because there was that rumor of Batshuayi, Zuma, or Tomori. Now, if we were to get several of those and a still a significant amount of money, and I mean several of those for free on permanence, I would have potentially taken that. Because if we can get numbers in, because all of those players are decent players. Let's say we got Batshuayi in on a permanent, for example, as part of this swap deal. Plus, and when I say significant amount of money, I mean 2 of those players plus 40 million or something. Do you know what I mean? I'm still talking big change here. This isn't just that's not what the offer was. That's not what the offer was. But if we say we got someone like Batshuayi in, all of a sudden you could sell Ajeti and you could sell Hugo and you're making money again. Not that I want them to sell Hugo, of course. But I don't want you to sit here well, how the tables have turned. I don't want that to be here. But in reality, potentially there was a deal to be made there. But I also don't believe for a second we aren't going to try and fight to keep him. No. You mad? We're going to try and make some money off him is what we're going to do.
As soon as 80 million comes on, pack your bags. Pack your bags.
No, don't take him. Don't take him. No, please. No, don't leave if you have to. Oh, no, he's gone. He's gone, guys. He's gone. Lies, bro. Lies.
What I do hope the board don't make him do is put in a transfer request. Because it will.
Listen, here's the thing. If he puts in a transfer request, they make less money. So they're in a delicate position, right, with him about when to sell, because here's the thing about selling him this summer is you're going to get reduced value for him because of the pandemic. Like it's just the fact of the matter, unfortunately. So I can see there being a temptation to wait until at least January, but realistically until next summer to sell him because of that situation. But the longer you keep him, the more you risk him being unhappy and handing in that transfer request. And the second you do, his value gets cut and then you make less money. So it's an interesting dilemma for them. I'm interested to see how they deal with it. But yeah,
I would personally say to Rice, because it looks like Chelsea are splashing out the cash this season.
mm, mm.
You know, they're putting another bid for Hutsa. Is that how you say something?
One more time.
Hutsa? 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 Hutsa?
Spell it.
Pass.
I don't know who you mean. But they are splashing the cash. They've already signed two absolutely gigantic players in Werner and Ziyech. So, I mean, and there's rumours of them looking at Anana from Ajax, the goalkeeper, which I don't believe, but it exists at least. They're putting in big things. They're putting in big money moves.
Right, so Havertz.
Hav. Oh, Havertz, Kai Havertz. Yeah. Yes. I do believe that. I don't think they'll get him, but I do believe it exists.
Yeah.
He's very good. Kai Havertz.
They're spending some cash.
Mate, right. You want to watch a good young player? Go watch Kai Havertz. Bust it up. Oh, baller.
Hey, he's done well for me on Football Manager. Not gonna lie.
There you go. Not well enough for you to learn how to pronounce his name, mind, but you know.
Yeah. I've had a JD and Coke.
That's fair. I respect it, bro.
So, yeah, I've got two exciting players. There's other players I could add on this, like Souček. I see Fornals playing a lot better next season. I see him growing. I see him developing. I'm quite excited. Which does, like, if we're honest, our midfield is got a lot of players in there. You know, you've got Lanzini, you've got Wilshere, you've got Fornals. That's quite a lot in that midfield. Expensive amount, a lot.
Yeah.
That you know, and are you going to be playing Noble in that position? Are you going to be playing Snodgrass in that position? And you got a clue what I'm doing at all, Baz. Don't you worry. Yeah.
Notice you're at work while you say that as well. I just noticed you're at work while you say that. I just want to.
It's my night off. I just like to point out if any of my bosses are watching. and I was here at 9:30 in the morning. So,
love that.
But Charlie, that's the end of the show for me. I've got nothing else. Have you got anything you would like to discuss or would like to add about Moyes?
Yes. Not sure what yet. Give me a second. Here it comes. I think here's the thing. Here's what I'll say. He's had a couple of runs where he's put together some decent performances. Now, they haven't turned into consistent results. As I tweeted out the other day, the back-to-back victories we just had are the first back-to-back victories he's had as a manager since November 2016. So he's not exactly been in the wins, as it were. He's put together some decent performances. I don't think that's an indication of his ability as a manager, unfortunately. I think, for example, a lot of the caveats you said in the first slide are things to consider, certainly, but he hasn't done anything really impressive to me, if I'm being perfectly honest about it. And it's a situation where what's in front of me suggests he's not a good enough manager to take us forward. And I'm concerned going into a relegation battle again next year, which I do think we're going to be favourites for, that we let a purple patch denote that. And what also worried me was the rumour that came out this week about us potentially giving him a new 2 or 3 year deal in Christmas if we start well. It's like, well, just wait, bro. There's no one else is coming in to get David Moyes. It's not happening. Like, realistically, as much as this idea of like we couldn't get another manager, which is probably true at this point, I don't necessarily disagree with that. I think there's probably some people you could have got, but at the same time, we're not exactly shopping in a wide pool here. Do you know what I mean? We're rocking up to Aldi and we're hoping they got what we want. We're not, you know, it's not a situation where we're rolling up to M&S at 9 o'clock in the morning. Do you know what I mean? It's Iceland at 11:30. I also think there's no one else is going to come in for him. No club that's realistically as big as West Ham or in the Premier League like West Ham are going to go, oh, David Moyes, I'll have a bit of that. So just wait until the end of the summer. Because stop giving people these contract, you idiots. Like, if you give him, oh, he wins a couple of games, there you go, have a new 2-3 year deal. Oh, great, we're stuck with him again now, and then you have to fire him again. Think about these things. Don't be so stupid all the time, bruv.
Question for you:
Later.
where would by Christmas? So
Yeah.
by January 1st,
Yeah.
if he's in the top 10, would you give him a new contract?
No.
If he's in the top 8, would you give him a new contract?
No, I don't think there is a position I'd give him a new contract, honestly.
If he's first, come on.
Bro, Allardyce in that last season with us, we were in Champions League places when at the end of January, in Christmas.
I have a theory. I reckon we would have been close. Maybe not Champions League. Bit optimistic. But I think we would have been a lot more closer if he knew he was staying on.
I don't necessarily disagree with that. I think that's probably a fair point. But
Yeah,
I also think we in football tend to get distracted by form and don't get distracted by baseline qualities. And David Moyes' baseline quality is like a fucking hole in the ground, bro. There's no baseline. You get to the lift shaft, and guess what? There's no bloody lift, fam. You look down, that's where you're going. You ain't going up. Like, it's just a fact of life, unfortunately. He's in a purple patch right now, but the rest of his tenure is whatever the opposite on the color wheel to purple is. Bright green. No, that sounds good. I don't know. I don't know. It's just not there for me. So I don't think there is one. Would you give him one? Let's say we start again. Let's play the same game. If we're 10th at Christmas, do you give him a new contract?
No.
8th?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Talk to me.
Right, the reason why I say 8th is because that is then get in the position of getting close to Europe. So I think he would then need to have that security and that ambition to say, well, get us into Europe next season. You've gone from relegation to Europe candidates to the following season to actually planning Europe and doing something. You know, I feel like that would then be a progression. And I think if he's in top 8, he's got. It all depends on the point scale between like 10th and
fair.
And 4th, because there's no way we're going to get in Champions League. There's not a chance. So, you know, if the point scale is in close, I'd probably say no to 10, but 8th will definitely be up there.
I'd say this, right? Let me be positive. I'll say this. In order for me to give him a new contract, this is what I'd have to see, because positionally, it's not a thing for me. My bigger problems now with the structural integrity of the club and how there is none, right? And so if in the summer he made some really smart signings that didn't require him to do stuff like going to watch them first. So if he in the summer put in place a good structure in the transfer market, so we're saying a good team of people, scouts, we're talking analysts, we're talking people who actually, you know, the Red Bull model that he's such a fan of, apparently. If he was to put something in place where we could start scouting these people and then we could go out, because the thing is, even if they don't all work out, I don't mind transfers not working out if we actually go and make a smart transfer, because everything can go wrong. But it's when you're being an idiot, you reduce the facts, right? So, like, for example, Nordveit and Faguli, who both came in on freeze that summer when we first moved to the stadium, they were both smart transfers. And I think actually they were better than they probably were given credit for. Some people will agree about Faguli. No one will agree about Nordveit. I don't care. I believe it, right? But I can forgive those sort of things where you go out and you make a smart, intelligent signing. If he goes out, creates a bit of structure at the club, which can allow the club to move forward in a direction, and he actually shows that he's not stuck in his ways like he does at the moment, because as much as people want to give him credit for the Watford result, and I do think he deserves credit, he would have set up that way regardless. Then I would start to consider giving him a new contract. If he shows that he's not, for just small things like don't go to the games to watch the players, do that, that's great and all, but we don't want to end up again in another Maddison situation or another situation with another player where he has to go and watch him before he signs him. It's like, I love that, that's great and all, but it's not modern day football, and you're not going to be able to keep up with everyone else if you do that. And it's those small things that matter more to me about rehiring him as a manager. If he does those sort of things, then I'd consider it. As long as we're not fighting in a relegation battle. Because if we are, then he's still done whatever.
Yeah. See, mine's slightly different. I feel like, yes, Rebecca, I definitely want a holiday. Mine's not really the structure and that behind, because I feel like some of it's is beyond his control. If you know what I mean. So I feel like that's some of that stuff. Sullivan needs to pull his fingers out of his pockets and put them in place for himself. Mine is more the gameplay and the tactics, and like see what he's doing. Where, I thought for the good he was all right actually. And where I see him making some decisions in the bringing on subs in certain areas and moving people in certain positions, that's what my main issue is.
That's very fair.
And I think there was times where he was like not dithering, but he held back on some of the substitutions against Watford because of they scored that quick game. So I was kind of like, I say, we should be looking at getting a sub on now when we're 3-4-0 up. Let's rest our players, blah, blah. And he wasn't doing that kind of stuff. Against Norwich. Crazy for what he was doing.
I remember.
He needs to just look at that kind of gameplay for me, and and I've not got an issue if I see him like bringing on Dean Garner for Anderson, or he's trying to, or even the other way around, Yarmolenko for Bowen, the other way around. You can see him doing different things, and then if I see him bringing on a youth player in the 80th minute or 85th minute, I'm like, okay. The youth player might give away a goal. Okay, I can see what he's trying to do. I see him educating this kid and give him a bit of thing. He's made a mistake. Fair enough. Or if he does well, he plays the next game like Oxford when he played fantastic against Arsenal. He played there. He had to get dragged off at half time. That kind of stuff. I don't mind seeing that because it's trying different things and employing different tactics. Again, Antonio, a winger, put him into a strike position. Not a fan at first because I always said that Antonio needs that field that he can run. He's like a Giselle. He needs to run into the space.
Yes, I know exactly.
But, he's gone into the striker role. He's done well. That's best top performing scorer since coming back of the striker in that role. So, fair play to him. He's trying something. I would like to see Yarmolenko maybe pushed into that as a different option, different challenge, different things. If I see him doing things like that, then I'll be a bit more excited. Doesn't have to all work. I just like to see him trying stuff. But when he does things like we're chasing after a game and then we're bringing on like a defensive midfielder, like for instance Noble, something like that, I'm like, okay, it doesn't say to me we're going for it.
Fredericks for Ngakia was a great example. What was the point?
What was the point?
We could see
saw Ngakia go, well, sod this, I'm off.
Yeah.
Has he signed for a club yet? Does anyone know?
No, he hasn't. No, it's weird because both him and the other one that people have been bringing up, example, is Ryan Fraser, who obviously left Bournemouth on a free. He has not.
He's coming to us, isn't he?
Well, we'll get linked to it. Give it until Monday. We'll be linked with him, right? We'll be linked with him on Monday.
Linked with him already?
Yeah, I know. I mean strongly though, because all of a sudden we have no money and there's a free player. Oh.
What do you reckon the scoreline for West Ham v Man United? Come on, give us your prediction before we go.
Just try to be a bit positive, Ray. Don't bring me back into the negative. I think we're going to lose 3-1. I think we're going to. I don't think there's a situation which we can outscore Man United at the moment. I think we'll give a decent enough account of ourselves, but Man United are a much, much better team than us, and especially if they rock up in as fine form as they've had of late, ignoring the Chelsea match in which they rotated people to save for us, then yeah, unfortunately, I do think we're going to get.
If I was a Man United fan, I would not be upset that they've been kicked out of the cup, because of what I could see Solskjaer doing. Is I can see him like, okay, it's a cup. I'm a Man United fan. We win loads of cups. It's not like we're West Ham. If it was West Ham, I might be a bit different. Never going to win a cup. So I'll be like, oh, we're getting in the Champions League. We need that extra cash. We're going to get better players next season, etc., etc. So I can see that, and that's what I'm saying about Moyes. I would like to see what he's doing and how he's developing. I do think we're going to lose, but there may be tricks in the old dog yet. And how much would Moyes want to get one over on Man United?
I just think he's a depressed, sad man, and he doesn't think about anything in his life. I don't know, bro. Listen, I think we'll give a good account of ourselves. I'll say that much. I don't think we're going to get anywhere near a win, but with someone like Jared Bowen, with Antonio on the pitch and the form he's on, I reckon we've got at least one goal in us.
Well, there you have it, guys. Thank you very much to my super buddy Charlie, my better half on Hammers.
I was going to dab there. I don't know why I did that. I went to start dabbing. What was going on there? My brain just went, Charlie, you're going for a dab. No, I won't do that. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you to everyone in the chat. We love seeing you all. There's 16 people still here. We can't be chatting that much shit, Charlie.
I mean, look at this. Katie rocked up right at the end. No message. Still
Katie, we're about to go.
Still gaining people.
Yeah. Cool. Good night, Charlie. Say good night.
Good night, everyone.